What if the fate of the entire Middle East and potentially the world was hanging on a single decision by one man? A decision that could either spark a massive new war or forge an unexpected peace. This isn't a movie plot. This is the razor's edge President Donald Trump is walking right now. At the heart of it all is a weapon of unimaginable power. A bomb so massive only America possesses it, and a choice that pits Trump's closest ally against his most deeply held promise. This is the story of Israel vs. Iran. Trump's choice. Welcome back to US and World Politics Decoded. We're here to cut through the noise and show you the real power plays happening behind the scenes. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. We've all heard Donald Trump's promise, the one he built his campaigns on. No more endless wars in the Middle East. But what happens when Israel, America's staunchest ally in the region, is in a hot war with its mortal enemy, Iran, and comes asking for the one key that can guarantee victory? A key that only the United States can provide. Is Trump about to be dragged into the exact conflict he swore to his base he would avoid? Or is this entire crisis a masterfully orchestrated piece of high-stakes diplomacy designed to force a deal no one thought possible? Let's get into it. The situation on the ground is dire. The war that began just days ago between Israel and Iran has escalated rapidly. Iranian missiles have been striking Israeli cities like Tel Aviv. In response, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered a series of punishing strikes against Iran. His justification? A preventive action against what he describes as an imminent threat, that Iran was on the verge of turning its stockpiled nuclear fuel into actual, usable weapons. But here's where the story gets complicated. The primary target, the crown jewel of Iran's nuclear ambitions, is a facility named Fordow. This isn't some surface-level factory. Fordow is a fortress, an enrichment facility buried deep underground, specifically designed to be untouchable. And according to experts, there is only one conventional weapon on Earth that can reach it. Enter the GBU-57, also known as the Massive Ordnance Penetrator. This thing is a monster. It weighs 13,600 kilograms, that's 30,000 pounds, and it's so heavy that it can only be carried and dropped by a US B-2 stealth bomber. Here's the critical point. Israel has neither the bomb nor the plane required to deliver it. For years, going all the way back to the Bush administration, Netanyahu has been pressing the United States to make these bunker-busters available to him. And now, with an active war underway, that request has become a demand. If Trump says no, Israel's main strategic objective in this war might be impossible to achieve. As one former U.S. official put it, if this ends with Fordow still enriching, then it is not a strategic gain. This puts President Trump in an incredible bind. For years, the U.S. military has war-gamed this exact scenario. They concluded that destroying Fordow wouldn't be simple. It would require American pilots in American B-2s, dropping multiple GBU-57s in successive waves, punching through the earth to obliterate the target below. If Trump gives the order, the United States is no longer a bystander. It becomes a direct combatant in a new Middle East war, the very thing he promised his voters he would end. And this is where we see the classic Trump playbook in action. A flurry of contradictory signals designed to keep everyone, his allies and his enemies, completely off balance. The confusion is the point. On one hand, you have Trump the hawk. He abruptly announced he was leaving the G7 summit early to deal with the crisis. Before leaving, he told reporters, "As soon as I get out of here, we're going to do something." Then, in a move that sounded anything but diplomatic, he posted on social media that everyone should evacuate Tehran immediately. But then, almost in the same breath, you have Trump, the dealmaker. He's also been saying, "I think Iran is basically at the negotiating table. They want to make a deal." Reports from inside the administration suggest he had encouraged his Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, and possibly even Vice President J.D. Vance to open a back channel to the Iranians. The likely contact on the other side? Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, a key figure who helped negotiate the original 2015 nuclear deal with the Obama administration. And Araghchi is signaling he's ready to talk. In a public statement, he said, "If President Trump is sincere about diplomacy and is interested in stopping this war, the next steps are important." And then he added a fascinating line, aimed directly at Trump. "One phone call from Washington is enough to muzzle someone like Netanyahu. That can pave the way to return to diplomacy." So, which is it? Is Trump about to unleash the B-2 bombers, or is he using the threat of annihilation to force Iran to the table and, in his view, finally dismantle its entire uranium enrichment program for good? This decision isn't being made in a vacuum. Trump is facing a firestorm of pressure right here at home, and it's revealing a massive crack in his own party. This isn't just about Fordow, it's about the very identity of the Republican Party and the future of the MAGA movement. On one side, you have the old guard hawks, the traditional interventionists. Senator Lindsey Graham, speaking on CBS, didn't mince words. He said if diplomacy fails, he would urge Trump to go all in to make sure that nothing is left standing in Iran regarding their nuclear program when this operation is over. He explicitly said, "If that means providing bombs, provide bombs, whatever bombs they are. If that means flying with Israel, fly with Israel." This is a clear call for Trump to provide the GBU-57 and potentially American pilots to fly the mission. But then you have the powerful anti-interventionist wing of the party, the one that arguably got Trump elected in the first place. Their most prominent voice, Tucker Carlson, has been just as forceful, but in the complete opposite direction. On Friday, Carlson wrote that the United States should abandon Israel and let them fight their own wars. He continued, "If Israel wants to fight this war, they have every right to, but not with American backing." This is a fundamental split. It's the old GOP establishment versus the new MAGA base. And it's not just pundits. Key figures in the defense establishment, like Elbridge Colby, a top Pentagon official, have long argued that every dollar and every asset spent on Middle East conflicts is a resource stolen from the real fight, containing China in the Pacific. So here is the final analysis. Donald Trump is perched on a knife's edge, holding two very different cards in his hand. In one hand, he holds the massive Ordnance Penetrator. He can present himself to the hawks and to Israel as the tough guy, the only leader willing to use America's ultimate power to eliminate a threat. He can tell the Iranians that they will stop enriching uranium one way or another, either through a deal or by having a GBU-57 implode the mountain, protecting their most valuable facility. In his other hand, he holds the potential for a diplomatic deal. By engaging in coercive diplomacy, he can tell his MAGA base that he is using the threat of force, not force itself, to bring a swift and peaceful end to the conflict, keeping America out of another war. For now, he can try to be both men at once, the peacemaker and the warrior. But this delicate balancing act can't last forever. If the combination of threats and talks fails, if Iran doesn't capitulate to his demands, he will be forced to make a choice. A choice that will define his presidency and the world we live in. He will have to finally decide, is this Israel's war, or does it become America's war? It's a monumental decision with no easy answer. What do you think he should do? Is there a path for diplomacy, or is military action the only option left? Let us know your take in the comments section below. This has been US and World Politics Decoded. If you appreciate this kind of in-depth analysis that goes beyond the talking points, do us a favor and hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to see it. And most importantly, subscribe to our channel. Make sure you ring that notification bell so you never miss another video where we decode what's really happening in the world. Thanks for watching.